They tried to destroy everything that made me who I was. Piece by piece, they tore my mind, my heart, my spirit, until all that remained was silence. The kind of silence that doesn't comfort, but suffocates. The kind that makes you question if there is anything left worth saving. You feel the world watching, waiting for you to stay broken. They expect you to surrender, to disappear into the dust they buried you under. But there's a moment deep in that darkness where something inside starts to move. Not the old version of you, something colder, sharper, stronger. Pain doesn't end you. It refines you. Every scar becomes a symbol. Every fall becomes foundation. You think I'm finished? Watch closely. You break, I rebuild. We are taught from the beginning to avoid breaking, to hold ourselves together, to hide the cracks, to pretend that strength means never falling apart. But life has its own plans. It doesn't ask for permission before it shatters you. People will betray you. Dreams will collapse. Time will erode what you thought would last forever. Breaking is not a choice. It is a moment that every soul faces when the weight becomes too heavy to carry. The world worships perfection. It teaches us to fear flaws, to cover the pain, to act as if being unbroken means being strong. But the truth is different. Perfection is lifeless. Real strength lives in imperfection. It is found in the ones who have been crushed and still find a way to rise. Every break exposes what was weak, false, or temporary. It strips away illusions and leaves behind only what is real. There is beauty in that destruction. Chaos is not the enemy. It is the sculptor. It shapes you, refines you, and forces you to meet the version of yourself that comfort kept hidden. Rebuilding is not recovery. It is not about returning to who you were. It is about creating something new, something that can no longer be broken the same way. Falling apart is not the end. It is the moment you stop pretending and start transforming. Breaking does not happen all at once. It begins quietly, like a crack spreading through glass. It starts with small disappointments, the kind you tell yourself to ignore. Then the weight builds, the pressure increases, and before you realize it, everything begins to crumble. The people you trusted start to drift away. Promises lose meaning. The goals you once chased feel empty. You wake up every day wearing a smile that hides a mind slowly sinking into chaos. There is a moment when you stop fighting it. You watch the reflection in the mirror fade, the eyes staring back at you, losing their light. Every breath feels heavy, and even silence feels loud. It is like standing in a city that is collapsing around you, while you are frozen in place. Walls that once protected you begin to close in. The laughter turns hollow. The noise of the world becomes a blur. You reach a point where nothing makes sense. The anger fades. The sadness burns out. All that remains is emptiness. A cold stillness where you no longer care about being fixed. And in that stillness you see truth. You see who stayed when the pieces fell, and who vanished when you had nothing left to give. You see what was real and what was built on illusion. Breaking strips away every mask, every false connection, every lie you told yourself. It hurts, it burns, but it shows you everything that truly matters. After everything shatters, there is silence. Not the kind that soothes, but the kind that forces you to listen. The chaos fades, the noise disappears, and for the first time, you are left alone with yourself. No distractions, no masks, no noise to hide behind. Just you, surrounded by the ruins of everything you once called your life. The air feels heavy, the world feels distant, and the question begins to echo in your mind. Who am I without what was destroyed? You start to see things differently. The pain that once consumed you begins to quiet, and in its place comes awareness. The loneliness that felt like punishment starts to reveal truth. Isolation becomes a mirror, reflecting not what you lost, but what remains. You notice strength in places you never looked before. You realize that the destruction was not meant to erase you. It was meant to expose you. The rain falls, washing over the ashes, clearing the dust from what survived. The blood on your hands no longer represents pain. It becomes proof that you lived, that you endured, that you are still standing. In the darkness, a single light flickers. It is faint but steady, and it grows brighter with every breath you take. This is the space between death and rebirth, between what you were and what you are becoming. Breaking did not end you. It created space. It cleared the old foundation so that something new could rise. Sometimes you have to lose everything to finally see yourself clearly. In the silence, you begin to understand. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rebuild. Rebuilding is not gentle. It is not soft music and peaceful mornings. It is war. It is dragging yourself out of the wreckage with shaking hands and blood in your mouth. It is learning how to stand again when every part of you wants to collapse. There is no moment of magic where everything feels better. Rebuilding is slow, heavy, and merciless. It tests your patience, your discipline, and your will to exist. But through that pain, something new begins to form. You start with small steps. You set routines when your mind still feels lost. You train when your body screams to stop. You learn to forgive yourself for what you allowed, for the mistakes that led to your fall. Every day you add one more brick, one more piece of yourself, building from the ground up. You stop seeking comfort and start chasing purpose. Discipline becomes your weapon. Consistency becomes your salvation. The fire that once burned you now fuels you. You stop needing validation from others because you have seen what you become when everything is stripped away. You grow colder, not in heart, but in focus. You no longer react to every wound. You calculate, you adapt, you evolve. The emotions that once controlled you now serve you. The scars remain, but they no longer represent pain. They are the marks of survival, proof that you endured. You do not hide them. You wear them like armor. They remind you of what you overcame and who you became because of it. You did not rise because it was easy. You rose because staying broken became unbearable. You rebuilt yourself with steel where you once had skin. The world tried to end you, but it only taught you how to become unbreakable. The person who rises from the ruins is not the same as the one who fell. The softness that once led to weakness has turned into control. The chaos that once consumed you has become your training ground. You no longer chase validation, nor do you crave recognition. You have learned that real strength is quiet. It does not shout for attention or demand to be seen. It moves in silence and speaks only through results. Before the breaking, you reacted to every emotion. Anger ruled your mind. Fear dictated your choices. Now you are different. You feel everything, but nothing controls you. You understand that power without control is just destruction. You have clarity now. Every thought is sharper. Every move is deliberate. You no longer need to prove anything. You simply become it. This is phantom focus, calm under chaos, detached from weakness. While others panic in the storm, you move through it with precision. There is no rage, no noise, only purpose. You have become the storm you once feared, calm on the surface and lethal beneath. You are no longer defined by what broke you. You are defined by what you built after. Pain became your teacher. Discipline became your ally. Silence became your power. You have reached a point where nothing outside of you can shake what you have built inside. This is mastery. This is evolution. This is the new form. They thought breaking you would end you. They believed if they took enough from you, there would be nothing left to rise again. But destruction is not the end. It is the beginning. When the noise fades and the dust settles, what remains is the core of who you truly are. Everything false burns away, and only what is real survives the fire. The person that stands after the fall is no longer fragile. They are rebuilt from pain, molded by discipline, and powered by clarity. Being broken was never your failure. It was your transformation. You were not destroyed. You were reforged. Every scar carries a story. Every wound holds wisdom. The pain that once felt unbearable is now the foundation of your strength. The version of you that exists now is quieter, but stronger, colder, but wiser. You no longer chase control. You embody it. The storm that once drowned you now moves inside you. You have become the calm within chaos. To those still standing in the ruins, understand this. The fall is not your end. It is your awakening. You have the power to rebuild yourself piece by piece until nothing can break you again. You are not what you lost. You are what endured. You are what survived. This is Phantom Focus. You break, I rebuild.